Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician. And if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. Today, we're going to answer some questions from Matt from episode pod 4. He's asking about polyphasic and biphasic sleep, but even more importantly, we're going to learn how Matt went from having insomnia to sleeping much better in a 3-week period. Hi there, and I am super excited to have you back here. I think we have a lot to learn from Matt's journey here. If you're new to the channel, then big welcome to you, of course. As I always say, or as I often say, when I think it's pertinent, then nothing I talk about here is medical advice to you, Matt, or anybody else, but just general advice, general thoughts that I hope will be really helpful. So that said, let's jump in right here. So I connected with Matt back in March 15th, when he sent me an email, and I made a reply to him that's available here on YouTube or on the podcast as well. It's called episode pod number 4. And I'm just going to actually start reading his most recent email where we can learn a lot and then answer his questions about biphasic and polyphasic sleep. So let's see here. 13 hours ago, Matt writes to me as follows. Hi, Dr. Erson. Just wanted to drop you a line to give you a quick update and thank you. And one last question, if you have the time for it. Around a month ago, I emailed you in the midst of a bout of insomnia, and you answered my questions about vitamin D deficiency and a few other things. I'm happy to report that I utilized the CBTi techniques you recommended, and after 3 weeks, returned to my normal sleep pattern. Made me super happy to read this. I'm very grateful for the information you provided. I think the most valuable lesson was realizing I really only need 6 hours of sleep a night, and that's okay. Looking back, it seems my cycles of insomnia were due in large part to that mistaken belief that I need to be in bed by 10 p.m. and get my 8 hours every night. That is such an important insight, and super happy to hear it. It's very common that I hear this in clinic and from people I interact with here on the channel, that people are like, I sleep pretty good and I just need 6 hours. That seems to be fine, and it is totally fine. And reading this, it makes me very happy, but on the flip side, also makes me really upset about all this misinformation out there, which causes so much trouble. We always say you should get your 8 hours, get your 8 hours. That causes a lot of trouble, which a lot of people are well-meaning when they say that, but they don't realize that causes so much insomnia. Okay, that's a little side note. Let's go on. During my bouts of insomnia, I, of course, spent an inordinate amount of time with Dr. Google, reading everything I could about insomnia, sleeping pills, and sleep in general. That ultimately led me to your videos, which was a great thing. Another thing that piqued my interest, though, was polyphasic sleep. From what I gather, the idea is much shorter nighttime sleep period with brief naps, maybe 20 minutes throughout the day. My first question is the idea of polyphasic sleep just a gimmick people are using to sell books, or have you seen people who successfully follow it and benefit from it? So I did like a little bit of quick reading about this. So basically, most of us have this kind of monophasic sleep where we have one chunk of sleep, or we're trying to get one chunk of sleep. Obviously, a lot of you struggle with insomnia, of course, but most people that don't have a problem sleeping in one chunk, monophasic sleep, then there's biphasic sleep where there's like, you sleep mostly at night, but you take a nap every day. Or some people have postulated that there's like this early sleep, the first sleep, and then the second sleep later in the night. And I personally, I'm a little bit of a skeptic there. I'll post in the description here a link to an article that I think was really illuminating, because people talk about, back in the day before the Industrial Revolution, before we had artificial light, we used to have 2 sleep periods. I don't believe that anymore, because studies looking at how people sleep in like Bolivia and Tanzania and things like that, where there's no artificial light, shows that their sleep is monophasic. They just have one chunk of sleep. And by the way, guess how much they sleep? About 6 hours. So just a little side note there. And now to answer your question, Matt, no, I've never actually come across anybody that has polyphasic sleep, that has like multiple shorter naps during the day. So I believe that it is something of, in the line of a gimmick, like something that somebody has a theory that you could do this, but I don't think anybody really does it in real life. There may be people claiming to do it, but I don't think polyphasic sleep, to be honest with you, is a real thing. There's always maybe that one outlier out there, but generally speaking, I don't think it's a real thing. So let's go on to the second word. Second, even if polyphasic sleep is a viable sleep pattern, is it a bad idea for someone who struggles with insomnia to attempt it? Hard question to ask. I'd say in your case, Matt, like you're doing much better. So on one end, like why would you mess with that? But on the other hand, I don't really think it's necessarily, it will be like a trigger for insomnia to try it. If you do, then you know what to do. You'll just go back to your current pattern. So that's kind of my answer there. I'm certainly wary of naps of any kind based on the information you provided about your sleep drive and the critical role it plays. But the strange thing is, during my bouts of insomnia, I found I accomplished a great deal more because I usually end up doing projects around the house or reading when I can't sleep. The idea of cutting down sleep is actually quite tempting. I was smiling when I read this because, you've gone from, Matt, here, you've gone from kind of like, I have trouble sleeping to like, I want to try to maybe sleep even less, which is, on one hand, I find that a good thing because if you have a lot of things to do, keep you busy, that is almost a guarantee that you won't have insomnia, So that made me, very encouraged. Now, finally, and I'm fortunate to have a job that would permit me to take naps during the day if I really wanted. So I guess Matt is thinking like, kind of like a hack here. Like, what if I just kind of chopped up my sleep a little bit? Maybe I could do more things. Again, in conclusion here, I don't think polyphasic sleep really is a thing. I don't think anybody really does it. If you're really curious about it and you want to try, then I don't think that would necessarily, trigger insomnia, and so that wouldn't be reversible. I think you could go back to it, but I don't think it is a feasible thing to do. If you decide to attempt this, then please stay in touch and let me know how it goes. I'll be really curious about it. But finally, again, I don't think it is a thing. I don't think anybody sleeps like that. Hope this was helpful, and I hope to have each and every one of you back here real soon. Until then, take it easy.